too short to be drinking shitty beer. Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Bollocks. This is a little bit of a different one today. I am going to be doing a little bit of news, and one of the subscribers has requested that I go round and film some of the beers in my local Morrison's. So I did that, got some funny looks, couldn't give a fuck. That'll be coming up the end. Firstly, a couple of announcements. I don't know whether any of you signed up. Firstly, I'm going to pour a beer. Let's get the fucking priorities straight on this one. Bottle of Hofbrau. Got it from the Morrison's, which will be showing up in the video a little bit later on. Let's get this filled out because it is hotter than Satan's armpit in the middle of an Algerian heatwave out there. It's that fucking hot. And this is the perfect beer to quench that thirst. Oh, I'm absolutely fucking gasping. And this has just come out of the fridge, so it's cold. I'm going to let that settle down for a bit. Right, these announcements, they may not affect you. Little bit of interesting snippets have come up to my attention today, and I thought I'd share it with you if you're interested. Firstly, I don't know whether any of you sign up to any of these online beer clubs. They do a monthly subscription. You pay X amount of money a month and you can build up your funds, and at some point you get little bonuses and stuff like that. You get little incentives to put a little bit more money away. You get incentives to buy more beer, etc. On the whole, not so bad. I signed up for one called Honest Brew. I don't know whether, well, if any of you out there have signed up for Honest Brew, you probably got an email today. Now, I went on there the other day and I thought, because I've forgotten about it, it comes out direct debit out my account every month. It's £10 a month, so you don't really notice it. And I was looking through my bank statements. This is a fucking tale of woe. I'm not going to go into that. But the statements, and it mentions the direct debit, and it said that Honest Brew had taken the tenner out, and that was at the start of the month. So I thought, I must have a few quid stashed away with Honest Brew. Let's investigate, see what they got. Now, they are quite craft beer heavy, and I've brought a few craft beers from them in the past, but it's not really my thing, as you know. I don't really review it on the channel anymore. I did when I first started out. I don't do it anymore. I think there's far too many people out there reviewing craft beer, and the traditional stuff is sort of getting a little bit left behind. So I thought I'll just concentrate on the traditional Belgian, German, British and other world beer stuff. Some of it's crap, I agree, and I'll tell you if it's crap, etc. You know the score on that. But the Honest Brew stuff was quite good on that front, when you could sort of put money away and then you'd look at it occasionally and you'd have like 20 or 30 quid and you could buy a few beers, and I certainly did, to review on the channel. Lately I noticed the stock was dwindling when it came to the German and the Belgian stuff, which sort of pissed me off, but they always had a good stock of Augustiner, and occasionally I bought crates of Augustiner from them and consumed them. But as I say, I'm fucking waffling now. But as I say, the other day I went on there and it said my payment had stopped, and I thought, that's a bit odd. My card hadn't expired, my direct debit was still set up, and it says if you want to reactivate it, follow the link. The link didn't work, and I thought, it's a bit fucking odd. Why would it have declined? And I didn't think nothing of it. And I looked at what beers they had. I had a couple in the cart, the checkout cart. And I thought, I know, I'll buy a few more. And I looked at some of the Belgian stuff. There's a couple of decent ones on there. There's Chimay Double on there. I threw a few of them into the cart. And I must have forgot about it because they're all still in the cart now. Got an email today. And this is the thing. This is the kicker. And I'll read it out to you. Where are we? I'm not going to remember this, but I want you to hear the official line from him. He said, "Dear Honest Brew customer," let me do it that way, it'd be easier to read. "Dear Honest Brew customer, since the beginning Honest Brew has been on a mission to get the world's drink to drink better. We have brought you styles from all over the world, including some that many of you have never even heard of, including some that many of you wish you'd never heard of." Yeah, I'll go along with that. It has been our job, it's been our passion, and it's been our lives. Like so many others, we worked hard to overcome the challenges of the last couple of years. We didn't always get things right, but we tried to approach every problem with honesty and best intentions. However, the current trading environment has proved to be one challenge too far, and as of the 14th of June, it is currently the 17th of June today, we made the difficult decision to stop taking new orders. That would explain the non-functionality on their website. We are very keen to ensure that all of our customers are looked after, particularly those of you with unused cash deposits. That would be moi. We've been working closely with a fellow craft beer pioneer to work out how best to do this, and you will be contacted in the coming days with more details. I wonder what craft beer pioneer that is. If it's Brewdog, I will lose my shit, because I'm not buying a fucking bean off that lot. They're not getting my fucking money. Just calm down. It might not be Brewdog, but this is what them fucking bastards do to me. It just remains for us to say a big thank you to everyone who supported us over the last 9 years. 9 years, wow! I didn't know it was that long. I was a member for about a year and a half, something like that. I didn't know it'd been going 9 years though. Whether as a valued customer, supplier, or investor, sometimes all three. We hope that we have been able to inspire you to try things that you'd never have imagined you would like. And if we could choose our own legacy, it would be for you to continue the journey of discovery. Wishing you all the best, Frank and the Honest Brew team. Notes from the administrators. Right. Alistair Manson and Steve Parker of Opus Restructuring LLP were appointed joint administrators, the administrators of Honest Brew Limited, the company of Honest Brew, on 17th of June 2022. The company ceased trading on the 14th of June 2022 and will not be accepting any further orders. The administrators act as agents of the company and without personal liability. Replies to this email are not monitored. So, Honest Brew in administration with 50 quid's worth of my hard-earned. It's never nice to see that, and I'm not going to start ranting and raving but that they've got 50 quid of mine. Yeah, they have, and I'm not going to lie to you, that's probably going to hurt me. But it's a shame that an online retailer has gone into administration. I never like seeing businesses, even football clubs, you know. I'm a West Ham fan through and through, and it pains me when I see another football club going into administration. You know, when Bolton Wanderers went into administration, Bury went into administration, clubs like that. Even Derby County were very close to it as well. And I take no glee or was it Schadenfreude? Is that how it's pronounced? Schadenfreude? I don't know. I take no glee in watching a football club go under. I take no glee in a brewery going under. I'll speak to you about that in a minute. If Brewdog went under, would I be happy? Truth be told, probably not. It would mean people would lose their jobs. I couldn't give a fuck about the two that run it. Fuck them bitches. But it would mean that people that work for Brewdog would lose their jobs. And I take no pride or glee in that at all. There's enough problems that people have got at the moment without losing your job. So yeah, I want to make that clear. Yeah, I don't like the brewery. But if they did go bust, them two twats in Aberdeen or wherever they're from would probably be crying into their shitty beer. But a lot of people would lose their jobs, not just here, but in America and in Europe as well. And yeah, I would take no pride in that or glee. As I say, even if Marston's went bust, or even these macro brewers, yeah, I slag them off. I say they're the great Satans and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's people's livelihoods, and in all seriousness, and I will still continue to take the piss out of them, but in all seriousness, and believe me taking the piss out of them and doing these videos is not going to make them go bust. So for those who are saying, well, you're a bit of a hypocrite because you're always slagging them off, you're harming sales. Believe me, I'm not harming sales. The only people that are harming sales is them. If you sell a shit product, you cannot expect people to buy your product if it's subpar. That's the fucking bottom line. It doesn't take me to tell somebody that the product is shit if they can't work it out for themselves. But there you go. I'm not going to have an argument into the camera to try and justify my position. Needless to say, I will keep you posted on what the administrators say. I'd be interested to see what this craft brewer is. What would I do? Obviously, I'd rather have the cash and spend it on good beer. If the only way of getting my money back, personally, I don't think I will. The administrators will normally take every bit of equity to try and recoup the company's losses. If this craft brewer is willing to honour the £50, and if it's a choice between taking their beer and losing my 50 quid, yes, I'm going to take their beer. Will I review it? It depends. If it's Brewdog, no, I won't review it because I will not promote Brewdog anymore on this channel unless it's to slag them off. I know that's a hypocritical thing, but it's my position and it's my channel, and you may think I'm being a bit hypocritical because I'm saying I don't want to see them go bust. No, I don't want to see them go bust. It's not because of the two twats that run the company. It's not because of the shit beer, but it's because of the people who work there and rely on their income. And that may, again, as I say, it may sound hypocritical, but that's the reason I don't want them to go bust. However, if they up their game and brew decent beer, things may change. Will that happen? I think you've got more chance of knitting fog and plaiting piss on the 30th of February. That's just my personal opinion. Continuing on the doom and gloom, subscriber or a viewer messaged me literally 15 minutes ago. I did the most recent videos, the Chimay triple comparison, the two Trappist brewers, and I did make mention in that of the American Trappist brewery Spencer. They just mentioned me and I missed this. I don't know how I missed it, but I did. And this Spencer brewery have now gone bust. And I looked up when this kind subscriber, and I'll tell you what, I'm always forgetting names, but I'm not going to do it now. And I'm not going to lie to you, I need my phone. But somebody called Steve Salmon. Steve, thank you very much for pointing this out to me. I probably would have found out, but it would have been far too late. But this is what they're saying. There's an American pastor magazine, which is I imagine it's a religious magazine, and with these being a Trappist brewery and Trappist monks brewing the beer, they've put this out. And I'm just going to read the statement that they put out because it's quite an accurate review of the whole situation. It says, sad and worrisome news to report today from a particularly difficult niche of the US craft beer world, as the monks of Spencer, Massachusetts Spencer Brewery announced that the only Trappist brewery in the US would cease operations. It's yet another depressing beer headline from an industry that hasn't had many positive stories to report since before the COVID-19 pandemic began. That's so true. The beer, the hospitality industry in general, I'm not just talking about the beer now and the drinks industry, the hospitality, the catering industry, restaurants, etc. They've all really suffered, and I've heard now they're reopening. They're struggling to get staff to man these positions. I don't know what's going on. To be honest, it's probably not good for them, but to have readily available jobs in a job market where times are hard is not the worst thing in the world. Obviously, it depends on what they're paying. Anyway, let me get back to this article. It says, after more than a year of consultation and reflection, the monks of St Joseph's Abbey have come to the sad conclusion that brewing is not a viable industry for us, and it's time to close the Spencer Brewery, said the Spencer Brewery via a press statement. We want to thank all our customers for their support and encouragement over the years. Our beer will be available in our regular retail outlets while supplies last. Please keep us in your prayers. Well, I don't believe in any of that God nonsense, so I won't be praying for you, but I do feel sorry for you all the same. God, I needed that. The monks of St Joseph Abbey are a community of Catholic Cistercian monks who first took root in Spencer in 1950. Like similar abbeys in Belgium, they sought to bring the monastic beer brewing traditions to the US as a means of supporting the operations of the abbey. Traditionally, Trappist breweries produce only as much beer as they need to sell over the abbey's operation, living expenses and improvements. After years of preparation, they have opened to 36,000. See, this is where I think they went wrong. This is only an opinion. They did start very, very big. 36,000 square foot is a hell of a lot to take on for a new undertaking. And I know they do everything big in America, as the Stranglers said in that famous song of theirs, but that's a big undertaking for a new brewery. They did that in 2014 to much fanfare, as they became the only certified Trappist brewery operating in the United States. Core beers included flagship Spencer Trappist Ale, which I've reviewed on the channel. Check that out. Do a search for Spencer. I do remember it was quite nice. Along with Holiday Ale and Monk's Reserve. Perhaps unexpectedly, it was never the beer that seemed to be an issue for Spencer. It was received pretty warmly by the craft beer community and seemed to perform well in tastings against the Belgian classics, after which it was modelled. Rather, the brewery seemed to struggle more with marketing itself in an ultra-competitive US market. Again, that is something that is a characteristic, and it's something that I always make a point of when I'm reviewing these Trappist beers. They don't really have much of a marketing department. It's not their style. I know, you got your own views on religion and whatnot, but these monks are very dedicated people. They're not salesmen. And where the Belgians have that tradition of these great Trappist breweries producing great beer in Europe, the US is sort of late to the party. Now, the UK does it with Tint Meadow. They only brew one beer. They haven't shelled out like they did in the US on a 36,000 square foot brewery. They've done things quite conservatively. I mean, I'm not going to go on about how good Tint Meadow is, but they only do one beer, and they do cheese and stuff like that as well, and it's very much on a small scale. I think these went a little bit too big too quickly. That's just my perception of what it is. I'll carry on with this article because it is quite interesting. I mean, if you're bored, just skip to the last bit of the video. But I'm just going to go on with a little bit more of this. Where were we? Struggle more with the marketing itself in an ultra-competitive US market, especially when saddled with a notably high price point, which is true. Spencer beer was quite expensive. In the US, breweries such as Allagash and what's going on here? Allagash, who are quite nice actually. I think they're from Indiana. I've had some of their beer before. They do a Belgian Vit beer, or an attempt at a Belgian Vit beer. That's quite nice. And Gang, I've not heard of them, had already long since pioneered a less expensive brand of Belgian style ale, which is true. The Allagash Vit was really nice. I thought it was good. I did a session on that watching a West Ham game at 7 o'clock in the morning, no less. And I drank pints of it, and I was drunk as a sack by about 12 o'clock. Pub was full of, the American bar was full of Liverpool fans. They got both barrels on me. They lost 4-0. I was shouting and hollering, "You've never even been to the fucking ground. I've been more times than you." And I ate them bastards. Yeah, not pretty. I'm not normally like that. I've named the Allagash Belgian style Trappist beer. Of course. Or was it that bag of crisps? Who knows? Anyway, Belgian style beer and classic Belgian Trappist brands such as St Bernardus, Rochefort and Westmalle have long existed as a pricey ultra premium imports. They have, certainly in America, it's very expensive. And somebody on the channel, when I reviewed the Chimay, he summed it up perfectly. He said it's pure indulgence, and it is. These type of beers are indulgent beers. They're not things like this that you chug along and you session. These are proper connoisseur, flavourful, strong beers that you need to respect. Speaking of which, I'm going to have another mouthful of this. But yeah, I mean, it goes on, blah, 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 sob story about... That's a bit harsh, sob story. It's just more tales of woe there for the Spencer Brewery, which is sad, as I say. I don't really like to see that happening to any brewery. And that's a real shame, because their beer was quite good. And they were keeping it traditional as well. They were trying to copy the Belgian style, introducing that to America. And I thought that they would have done better, because as I say, the Belgian imports are expensive in the United States, and if you have a decent, genuine Trappist brewery in America brewing that kind of thing, then you're going to compete. But sadly not. And yeah, it's a shame. But as I say, America, it's a free-for-all, free market economy, and the competition in America for beer is absolutely huge, and it's just a shame. And I hate to see that, and it's sad. So there's two bits of woe. Follow me for more bad news. Anyway, on a slightly more cheerful note, a couple of people have asked me to, because I'm always going on about the local Morrisons, which is where I pick this stuff up from. And I'm not affiliated with Morrisons in any way. I think they're very fucking expensive when it comes to food. The selection fucking grinds my gears. They used to do Pecorino Romano cheese. They've stopped doing it, and all they do is Parmigiano Reggiano. First world problems, eh? But yeah, the beer section in the local Morrisons, though, it is good. It's the Morrisons up in Maidstone. If you know the area, there's a Morrisons up in Maidstone, and the beer section in there is quite good. If you're interested to see what they have, watch this.